Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another run through of Renac. The last time that we tried her, we had some success, and I do think that her damage is quite impactful. However, this time around, I do have a few other characters and some other gameplay kind of, gameplay ideas that I think would be a bit more efficient or maybe make Renac more successful. That said, I think after a full day of testing and seeing others play her, she is extremely powerful. That said, again, we're going to go over some of the builds and some of the different, I guess team compositions that you might want to use with her. But without further ado, let's get into it. First and foremost, in terms of build, as you see here currently, she does have speed and hit set on. However, based on the way that I've been playing her, effectiveness is not really necessary whatsoever. In addition to this, I do think that while her artifact is very nice, it hasn't felt like her artifact is necessarily the most important thing ever, as most of the time she ends up perhaps getting one shot or doesn't really need to do anything at the end of her turn anyways. That said, I do think that Renac is the sort of character where if you are getting her currently and you aren't fighting against someone like Arunka, most of the time the match is over anyways. That said, let's go over quickly her kit and such to run things down again very briefly and quickly. Again, her S3 is a full penetrate. While it doesn't allow her to crit, but it does scale specifically off of the damage of the caster's speed, and after using this, of course, she will self-inflict the stun while also dispelling all buffs from herself, while also dealing 7,000 fixed damage to all enemies, which is pretty impactful. Next, we have our S2, which is the Pilfer, and again, Pilfer essentially steals stats from the enemy, and with the other side of this effect, Spoils, you steal the stats from the enemy and you give it to yourself. She does grant herself attack increase and an extra turn while doing this, which is pretty impactful. But also keep in mind, of course, that this does push back the target by 40%, which is cool. Now again, her S1, at least from what I've seen, is not impactful enough for me to justify upgrading it. However, the damage that I did see on this character was roughly only something like anywhere between, I guess, like 4,000 to 8,000 damage, which could be a bit more significant if you do run this in a slower team composition. But obviously with the Renac that I'm going to be using, she's a bit faster. Okay, now in terms of set, again, speed and hit would be nice. However, I think that you could probably go for something like speed and HP as well if you don't want to die. I've seen a bit tankier Renacs as well. I've seen a few that are more high attack focused or based. However, as you can see here, I've got something like 47, and I guess if you don't want the effectiveness, you could even argue even more in terms of stat rolls that are unused, and that could be used for either HP or attack if you were to hypothetically max her out. And that's while also only being plus 15 and not even having triple S on her imprints. Now, okay, with all that out of the way, the first thing I wanted to test is actually Arena, because I think this is where it's easiest to get this off. However, we're going to drop this first team because admittedly, if there's a Harsetti team, Harsetti does make this a little difficult. However, actually the team that you're seeing right here is exactly the sort of team that I wanted to work on. Now, again, to be clear, I do think that you can make a different team composition work regardless of what it is. But I think the good or the core pairing that a lot of people have started seeing is pairing Renac with the Sharoon here, as Sharoon, of course, self-combat readiness pushes herself after someone on your team has a debuff on them at the end of turn. And in this case, with Renac taking turn 1, she's guaranteed to do that, and you don't have to worry about what sort of debuff or how many debuffs you receive as a result. With that though, I think this is actually going to work quite well. So let's take a look at exactly what we have with this lineup. Now again, if I get outsped, it is what it is. That's probably an L. Oh, but actually we are not going to be at a loss here. So I'm going to pilfer this ML shoe first. This might actually just one-shot her, to be honest, like straight away. Nope, but that was obviously a pretty significant amount of damage. We've got Sharoon's Cascade, we've got the pushback, and that was a pretty high push, all things considered. I mean, if you're taking a look at, and also apologies for the frame, but if you're taking a look at how much damage I just dealt there, I mean, pretty much everyone is just gone. You know, she is essentially like a glorified, or she is like a guaranteed method at this point for Sharoon to take the turn. And if you aren't familiar with how powerful Sharoon is, Sharoon of course has access to a very powerful S3 in the form of, well, you'd guessed it, a defense break, and also reducing the buff duration of enemies' buffs by 2, which is super big, as most buffs in the game don't usually even exceed 1, but she does have access to 2, while also granting, of course, a pushback and defense break. All of this basically to say she is very powerful as a result of this. I am actually going to try another variation here, where instead of with the Jacko, actually with Jacko, I think we might be able to. I'm not okay. Actually, I take that back. Okay, I've got an idea here. I am a bit afraid here, because obviously if I end up cutting, we'll be in a pretty bad spot. Okay, you know, one thing's worth trying, or some things are worth trying at least once. The thing that I'm gonna see here is if we can avoid, you know, the Bri, or you know, the Ruel revive. But something that's going to be a little bit annoying is whether or not the Araminta will cut here. Hopefully we can just debuff this. Okay, that's fine. After the self-stun, it would be amazing here, absolutely amazing, if Araminta doesn't cut, and if the Dragon King Sharoon actually guaranteed takes the turn. Perfect. So actually the tuning of this is perfect. Again, this combo is so lethal, so powerful. But like, as you're seeing on screen right now, we've got the Briar Witch Iceria, we've got a load of damage that goes out on the enemy team anyways. And even if we don't land, I mean, take a look at how much damage is being thrown out here, right? We've got the Cascade, we've got the we've got infinity amounts of damage here. Honestly, I'm super impressed by the synergy between Renac and the Dragon King Sharoon already. And although of course you've seen it once, you've probably seen it 100 times, it's probably the way that you're probably seeing this, or you've likely associated this now, like, oh, is there any better combo than something like Renac and the Dragon King Sharoon? Admittedly, there doesn't feel like there really is one, just because of how, again, how well and how much combat readiness push essentially you gain from this, which I think is honestly fantastic. That said, I am also going to try fighting against stuff like the Abyssal Euphine. I think Abyssal Euphine does make things a bit more annoying, but again, given that we have so much combat readiness pushing, and you know, I think actually we might just kill the Abyssal Euphine here, and that might be enough for us to one-shot, or to push up and have the Dragon King Sharoon cut. Okay, hopefully we don't get cut here. Amazing. We're going to S2 onto the Abyssal Euphine. Okay, come on. We stole a little bit of stat from this character, yeah? It just, like, okay, again, apologies for the frame rate. I don't know what's going on. I might have to restart my computer, but you guys get the idea here, right? Like, this is disgusting, honestly. And we're all pushing up, and everyone gets the cascade damage, and it just, like, oh my gosh, like, what are we even looking at here? Like, they literally don't stand a chance. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is Harsetti, and Harsetti is absolutely disturbing of a character. And if you saw, they did announce that she is getting the arena skin, which is unfortunate. But if you are someone that honestly isn't, you know, honestly is willing to even pull for or use Renac for something like arena, I mean, look at how number one, look at how fun the comp looks. You know, you have you have Summertime Iseria, you have Sharoon, who I think most people haven't used since, I don't know, like Death Dealer Ray was even relevant. But even with Death Dealer Ray, people were using Schneel. And now, I mean, like, look at how impactful this combo is. It's not even just Sharoon you know, doing a little bit of damage or anything. Like, this whole lineup is so, like, they each shine so brightly themselves, you know. And okay, admittedly here we do have the Ilanov, so maybe there's a chance here that the Ilanov puts a snag on things. She does. We're gonna push everyone back a little bit though. Oh. Maybe we are in trouble? Unless if Ilanov dies from all the damage. Ooh, that's a bomb. Oh, that's not very good. Ow. Okay, we do have Cascade here. Okay, even if this S3 damage doesn't kill the Arunca, I think we're still fine. But it was enough damage. That's just the best part. I don't know how else to phrase it. It's like, even in a team like this, like, it looked like it would be so bad, you know. And like, there's an Ilanov here to prevent like the full penetration here of my Renac, and she still is getting absolutely blitzed. Like, it's not even close, to be honest. Like, Ilanov is the premier defense penetration resistance character, and she's just not even a challenge. Okay, I'm gonna try one more. I'm gonna try one arena game just to show you guys kind of what I've been cooking up. Again, I've been trying to use Renac basically as my pseudo speed character, while also being a character that I use for you know, just general damage. You know, she's so good with 7,000 fixed damage for being like a versatile multi-purpose speed unit. So okay, thank you. Thankfully we got access to her first. Most people right now are either taking Renac or they're picking the ML Arunca, which I think is a pretty decent answer to her for what it's worth. But this guy doesn't know that I've actually got some good I've got some good plans. I've got some good ideas with this character that aren't just ML Sharoon as well. So okay, so the thing is, in this case, things do look a little bit dicier. Again, the Arunca does make things a bit more difficult. But we've got a very fast lineup anyways. I think this lineup can actually deal with, ooh. Okay. So we've got ooh, okay, all right. Admittedly, this was something I was a bit more concerned about. If you do have a team that has a bunch of counters, and obviously like this is maybe the worst of them. Two blue units against Lidica does make things a bit more difficult. I think we can still be okay here though. With Renac, I'm curious here if it's better for us to just have, you know what? Okay, I'll take Sharoon here just as insurance. Again, I don't think Sharoon is like a bad character by any means. Technically speaking, if we do end up failing the 50-50 against Elena, we could, you know, even after she applies her S3 and she gives everyone immunity or the invincibility, we could actually strip this away with the Sharoon, which would be really good tuning wise. And we also push back. Okay, that's fine. That is totally fine. Okay. Like I said, there's a very good chance that we don't land here on the Elena. That's okay though. All right, all right. Actually, they both did not land. That's fine. Ooh, okay. Oh, that is not very good though. Okay, it didn't do that much damage though for what it's worth. This guy's already defense pen, but it would be nice if we could. Oh my god, stop. Okay. Okay, we pilfer. Really? Like, do you really have to hit me 10 times? Oh gosh. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So we S3. Oh, we actually cut here. That's actually amazing. I think we're okay actually now. God, every hit you have to counter me. Okay, let's S1 here. I mean, he's not really got much here to his name, right? Renac here. Okay, we just got to make sure not to. Ooh, I was gonna say we just need to make sure she doesn't get revealed. Oh, that's not very good. Ooh, Litica is gone. Let's get more. Let's get more here. Okay, we can stun, I think. If we soul burn, we can stun. Please. Nice. Perfect. Perfect. Wait, that's actually so big. That's so big. That's so big. We need to get more souls just in case though. It would be cool actually if we have enough F to steal and pilfer from this character, but no, we don't. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, we've got plenty of souls now. Okay, actually, amazing. We don't even need souls, actually. Okay, there's no way, right? I think this is... Okay, we have to be very precise and very careful. Okay, so off of this S3, this should guaranteed proc her. Please don't counter. Very good. And then stun. Oh! Wait, we actually... Ooh! Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Sharoon and Renac are so good. I mean, like, that was as good as you could get it. Like, Amiki is so good at dealing with count, or, you know, good at dealing with, you know, like Litica and some of these teams, especially if you don't land, which, you know, obviously I didn't. But then Renac and Sharoon has like that high effectiveness, so you guaranteed get like the stun off. I mean, like, this was a fantastic showing, I think, of just how strong Renac is, and even how strong Dragon King Sharoon is. But guys, I won't make this one 40 minutes like the last one. In any case, I just wanted to go over that, or showcase this specific combo, because I think Dragon King Sharoon and Renac are super strong together. Overall though, I guess, you know, to give you guys a bit more context, for the last video that I did as well, I did offer up the fact that I do think Renac is quite strong, especially with obviously how, you know, how fast she is and the fact that she's a limited character. So in that case, I do think she's worth pulling for. But if not for that, at least from what you guys are seeing, either in Guild War and Arena, I'm sure you guys can find some way to make like a free defense break and, you know, AoE defense break character work. I mean, seriously, Dragon King Sharoon's S3 is super powerful. Again, the defense break is just absolutely ridiculous. Now again, depending on what debuff you have, like this is absolutely ridiculous, but like look at the class debuff. Like, come on, if there's like a knight or a soul weaver, it's a guaranteed defense break. And you know, in most cases, when with how you're looking, or whenever you take a look at the arena matchup now, currently, or in this day and age, I mean, look at how many soul weavers and knights there are on a team, right? If they're even hittable, right? You know, in some cases, of course, you won't hit the characters like Flan, but that's why you take the other characters like the Summertime Mysteria and such to deal with them. But otherwise, guys, I think this combo is lethal. I think Renac is powerful. I don't think you need to necessarily pull for her artifact, though I think it is obviously really nice, as it gives her a flat amount of, or like a, you know, a base rate of attack percent, while also giving her a bit of combat readiness push. But I think the most important thing of all is speed tuning her. Obviously, the faster the better, but if you did see the last video that I had with Renac, I had her at 323, but I actually think that the better play here is actually to have the Lidica go first, just so she can maybe strip off some things, or she could tune things a little bit easier. But in any case, guys, even if you have her at that 300 speed, I think she'll work, so long as you're confident in outspeeding who you're obviously tuned or fighting against. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks again for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed or learned something. I'll see you on the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night.